What do you think it is that students get from history teaching at its best?
When history works as a subject, I think one of the most important things students get is the ability to see the world from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
That is such an absolutely crucial skill in the world in general, but particularly right now. And it gives them a kind of safe practice place to go, because the people in history are different than they are.
Yes.
And for me, the most essential skill in history is learning to reconstruct someone else's perspective. And to recognize that people can be in a struggle with each other in the past, and that you can understand why both of them did what they did. Tendency for some students to look at history as a search for the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I work against. I ask my students to try to get in the shoes of everybody we study. And if they can do that, I think that the payoff for their lives can be enormous.
There's a payoff in their own lives. Do you think there is a payoff for society? How would you kind of explain the value of that to other people, maybe to funders or policymakers?
At the very core of my commitment to teaching and my involvement with it is a sense of politics, but not in the narrow sense, the larger sense of commitment to the future, to the whole, to the group. I don't see how we're going to get through what we have to face in the next century, and since I have children, that matters a lot to me, without having some sense of history. And it's not so much of avoiding the mistakes of the past, because we always have new mistakes to make, but rather understanding mechanisms, being sensitive to things, being able to see the possibilities, understanding other perspectives, that these things can be learned in history, and I think it's an essential part of an education, and people just need that desperately for the sake of the society, as well as for them as individuals.
Sure, sure. Have you seen your own students go on and play roles in society?
Yes, it's been very rewarding to watch students go on and continue their lives. Teaching at a very large state university, I don't have a chance to see as much of the subsequent lives as I would teaching at a small liberal arts school. But still, there are ones that end up, I think of two students in particular, who had quite some time ago. One was a very nice, likable student, bright, but not very energetic, who went on to go to Stanford Law School and then ended up as a clerk in the Supreme Court under Thurgood Marshall, and went on to a major law firm, and then decided he didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Dropped out and went to work for the AFL-CIO union, and he does legal work for them because that's what he wants to do.
Right.
Another student was a singer. We have a major music program at my university. And it just got hard, and financially got difficult. And so she went to law school, and she, again, like the other student, succeeded, got in a big law firm, made a lot of money, and got in her early 30s, dropped out, became a successful opera singer. I saw her name in the New York Times not too long ago.
That's great.
So it's great to see people who have the flexibility to change in their lives, and also the skills to succeed at a lot of different things.
Do you think that learning history actually helps you somehow to deal with some of those changes as well?
Yes. History is about time and change. And young people, and most of our students are still the traditional age, they don't have any long sequence of time to look at. They live in a captured moment. And history allows them to begin to think about change. I think that's one of the most important things that we have to give. I can still remember the first time I looked at a magazine and realized that the advertisements I was looking at, which I had read myself earlier, now looked out of date.
Yes.
And I was sensitive to that because I was studying history, because I was interested in it, and being aware of how everything changes. There's that wonderful quote from Marx that everything solid melts into air, and that all the things around us that seem so fixed and given are actually changing all the time. It's just the speed that they change with is too slow for us to perceive on a day-to-day basis. I think being a historian can help you do that, and studying history can help you do that.